Welcome. Let's get into what we have to do for today. So today we are going to be looking at aggregation and grouping. So come here, so have that here. Aggregation and grouping. In the last class we looked at sorting and stuff like that, but today we want to look into how to um, aggregate. That is how to get this overall descriptive information about a particular column, usually um, a continuous column, a numeric column, or in some cases it could be categorical or nominal. It really does not matter. So we want to look at how to actually get like an overall summary of a column instead of just looking at it from the scope of the individual record in that particular column. So, and in SQL, we have five popular aggregation functions, and excuse me, they are we have AVG for getting average, we have sum for getting total, we have min for getting minimum, we have max for getting maximum, and we have count for counting the number of records in a table generally or in a column. So let's look at question one. So we're going to write a query. We're going to write sorry, write a query that returns number of others, that returns the total number of others sold. So for something like this, we're going to say select count, and we can count other ID, say count other ID as number of orders from sales order, and we run that. If we run that, we are going to get, so we have 830 total orders sold. Now, another thing is we could come here and say, let's say we do not want it. That's question two. Let's say we do not want all the orders. We only just want to see the orders that were sent to maybe a particular country. I want to show us how to combine, aggregation with the where clause that we've already seen before. It is just the same thing. There is no changes. Nothing has changed. So we're going to write a query that returns the total number of orders sent to Germany. Same thing, we say select. I'm going to count order ID. Well, we can really count anything. It's just better to count order ID because of readability from, or we can say number of the alias. We should make it number of Germany orders since we are going to be returning only for Germany. So we say where, just like the exact way you are going to do it normally. We say where ship country equals Germany. And we close this and run it. We have 122, so we've sent only 122 orders to Germany. Now let's look at another aggregation function. Let's see 3. Let's write a query that returns um, what it costs on average to ship to London. Say select AVG, average is AVG, shipping fees, the freight as average freight from, and it's going to be from sales order. So where ship city equals that's going to be London, and we'll run that. Can actually run it like this, and we see the average freight cost for London. Then we can also check, the sum. Write the query that returns the total revenue generated by the company. So that's going to come from, let me show you this. We see select unit price, but let's just select star from other details. This is probably something you don't want to do in production, like on a system that is taking data in real time. You don't want to run select star on a facts table so that you don't keep getting, that's probably going to bring down the server or something. So can add limit, say limit 5. I just want to show you this. So now let's look at this. So we see our other details table. So we see unit price, we see quantity, and we know that our revenue generated, the total revenue that we generate is going to be the sum of this times this plus times this, because to get the total amount collected for this order, we need to multiply unit price times quantity. And maybe minus discount. But I think discount is the same thing all through, it's just zero all through. Let's confirm that by checking. We can say select discount. As you select sum discount, let's just sum all of the discounts together. So if it returns um 0, it means it is 0 all through. Discount, I guess there's S there. Oh really? The, okay, the count, it should be discount. I'm guessing there is no S. Let's run it. Perfect. Oh, there are actually some discounts there, so we need to factor in discount also. So come here and we say select. The real question is to get the total amount that we've made. So it's going to be sum. Then in another bracket, we're going to go unit price multiplied by quantity. Close that bracket minus discount. Then close this bracket and say as revenue, as total revenue. Right. So do unit price times quantity of a particular order. Then we remove discount from it, and that gives us the total revenue, after summing the whole thing together. So we run that, we should get, this is this value here is the total revenue that we've generated across the business generally. So that's what we use sum to do, to add things together. Then let's do 5. That's going to be to write a query that returns the highest and lowest amount ever paid to ship an order to the UK, something like this. So you can say select max freight as highest UK freight, comma, let's go to the next line. Mean freight as lowest UK freight. From sales order, and we end that. So if we run it, we are going to get our output. This is the highest UK freight. Somebody has paid as high as 1,007.64. Then another, the lowest one was actually just 0.02 pound. That is interesting. And that is how, aggregation functions work. That's basically how aggregation functions work. So um let's now see a way to combine aggregation function with more context, a way we can actually get more context from um aggregation function. And what does that mean? It means we need to introduce something called group by, because not grouping, because normally aggregation functions will return just one value, just a single value. What's the average of this? Like you've been seeing since, we've only been getting one line of value. But sometimes we want to get more perspective, right? We want to see even richer information from our output. For example, a situation where we want to actually see, instead of the highest freight that has been sent to, oh, this is wrong. We need to include where, sorry, my bad, where ship country equals UK. We needed to add the where clause. I hope you caught that. If you caught that, then it means that you are making a lot of progress, whoever is watching this video. So we see that we've actually like filter this down to just UK, and these values has changed, because the one we were seeing earlier is the overall highest and the overall lowest. So great. So grouping, like I said earlier, so let's say we just do not want to see this information for UK alone. We want to see it for different countries. How can we do something like that? The way we'll do something like that is to say select. So let's write a query. Let's start off, very simple. So let's say write a query that returns the number of orders sent to each country. And that would be select. We want to get the number of orders sent to each country. So our output is going to look like um the country name, the number of orders, country name, number of orders, like that. So we say select ship country, comma, um, you know, to count, to get number of orders, we are counting order ID. So as number of orders, then we say from. Where's it going to be coming from? It's going to be coming from sales order. Now, if we should just run this, it's going to give us one line of output saying France and 830. That is not what we want to see, right? So this 830 is basically all of the orders. So it still has not partitioned all of this. So what we need to do is come here and say group by. So you need to add group by, and it's kind of like a rule that whenever you have a title column, we call this thing title column, any column that comes before An aggregation column is a title column. So if you have a title column and an aggregation column, you must always have a group by the aggregation column. So we say group by ship country. Group by ship country, and we run this. Let's run it. So we get our output and we see the number of um orders in each country. Now let's take the next one and see. So let's say for something we can actually do more. We can, instead of just seeing one of them, we can see several of them. For example, we can write a query that returns the number of the average freight cost, comma, maximum freight cost, and lowest freight cost for, that's for the top 10 most expensive cities to ship to in terms of average freight. Something like that. Average freight. So how does that work? We're going to say select, again, ship city. And here we are not just looking at only one. We are looking at three things. Average freight cost, maximum. This is not that maximum. Maximum, I guess. Then the lowest freight cost. So we are going to go first. Average, sorry, AVG. AVG freight as average freight. Maximum freight, max freight as maximum freight. Sorry. Then mean freight as lowest or minimum freight, any which one works. Then we can go and say from sales order, say where, because there's a where clause here. It says nope, there is none. It's just top 10 most expensive. So all we need to do is order. So we group, say group by ship city. Then our result is going to come out, but we still need to order. So we see that we've grouped by ship city, and we see what it costs on average to ship to a particular city, what is the maximum and what is the minimum. But they only ask us for the top 10. Say order by average freight, and it's going to be in descending order of limit 10. So we should come here and run this. We have this. So these are the top 10 most expensive cities. So this Boise is the most expensive city to ship to. It costs $215 or pound on average, whatever the currency is. Let's just say dollar to ship there. Right. So you see that you only cannot you only don't have to do um one aggregation function. You can do multiple aggregation functions, and you can also do multiple title columns. It works. Either of these works. So let's see. I think this is 6 and this is 7. So let's see. Let's come here and say Right. Let's see another example that will introduce us to another concept. So write a query. Let's say return the number of customers we have in each city, in each country. Only return countries where we have at least 10 customers. Right. So we come here and we say select. Now, this is different. We want to get it's pretty much the same thing, but there's like a little difference to it. So we want to return number of customers we have in each country. So we have something like select country that is going to be coming from customer table. Yeah. You know, country. Yeah. So we say select country, comma count. And we're going to be counting customer ID, which is cost ID. So it's a cost ID as number of customers. Then we say from customer, then we group it, group by country, group by country. Now, if we run that, you see, we have the countries, each of those countries and their outcome. So normally you would want to do something like where, because there's a where clause, it says where we have at least 10 customers. So if you say where number of customers is greater than 10, because at least 10. If we should run this now, let me run it for so that we see. Now it throws an error. It says unknown column number of customers in where clause, and this brings us to an important concept to learn in SQL, which is the hierarchy of execution in SQL. I think I've explained that in Alias before also. When we're dealing with Alias, I would have. Now, um, here's the thing. The way we write is not the way SQL executes. So the first thing that gets executed is from, after from, the next thing is where, after where, the next thing is select. So as at the time that you know from gets executed first, excuse me, then where gets executed next. So as at the time that where got executed, I was executing, we haven't gotten to select at all, and we do not know, the server does not understand what number of customers is, this operation. And you really cannot move this to the top. You cannot move it under, you cannot move it anywhere. It has to be after where, like this. Select from where. So yeah, what we now do in this case, that means that there is a simple rule, and the rule is that unless something is unless what you are trying to filter, let's say a column you are trying to filter, unless if it is in your table, you cannot filter it. If it is not in your table, you cannot filter it. And this number of customers is not in our table. It is something that we created ourselves. Let me remove that. Run this again. So this number of customers column is not in our table. What we have in our table is customer ID. We created this by ourselves now by counting the number of customer ID. So to filter that, which brings me to the actual rule itself. Whenever we want to filter the result of an aggregation, we use having clause. So we say having number of customers greater than 10. So if we should do this, it is going to work. So we see having number of customers greater than 10, and we have Germany 11, France 11, USA 13. Those are the three countries with more than 10 number of customers. So let's move on. Let's take number 9. So we're going to return the average. return the average. No, return the number of. Let's check. Return. Okay. The top 10 most expensive orders and their order ID. So that is going to be select. That's going to be coming from order detail. Yeah, let's check order detail. This is order detail. So expensive orders, basically the value of an order is going to come from unit price times quantity. So we say select, then we say order ID first, comma, then we can say sum unit price multiplied by quantity as total amount. Actually, you might want to remove discount from that, I guess. Let's do that. Then minus, going to do minus discount. Then we can come and say from order detail, say group by order ID. Perfect. So we can run this. Oh, top 10 most expensive. So we'll come here and say order by the amount, and it's going to be in descending order, and we'll limit it to 10. So we should run that. So these are the top 10 most expensive order, like this. Right. So basically, that is how to group, that's how to do aggregation. Remember, if you want to filter the result of an aggregation, you use having. You don't use where clause, you use having. And this is extremely important because where clause cannot filter the result of an aggregation. It has to be having. So yeah, that is that. So let me give you something to work on. I'm going to say exercise, and I hope you do it wherever you are watching from. We only get better by testing ourselves. I'm going to write a query. Sorry, write the query that returns number of employees in each country. That's the first one. We're going to, let's say, question one, then question two. It's going to be to write a query that returns the average cost of freight for countries where we sent at least 30 orders in 2007. Yes, that should push you a little with the where clause and all of that. So that is that one. Group by, and that is grouping and aggregation. See you in the next one.